Good evening. Last Monday's horrific shootings at the Navy Yard were a tragedy for the nation, for the Navy Yard, and most importantly, for the loved ones of those lost and for those who suffered injuries. And it also was a tragedy here in the District of Columbia. Residents of our city lost friends and neighbors, mothers and fathers, colleagues, and fellow church members. And our brave first responders joined their federal counterparts in doing their duty fearlessly and unselfishly. Among those injured on Monday was one of our own Metropolitan Police officers. Officer Scott Williams was one of the first to respond, and he was shot in both legs. His bravery is symbolic of countless other personnel from our Metropolitan Police Department, our fire and emergency medical services, and our federal and local public safety agencies who answered the call to duty without hesitation. We are reviewing their response to learn as many lessons as we can from this event. But there's one lesson that is already abundantly clear. Our country is drowning in a sea of guns. One of Monday's victims was a district resident whose family already had been tragically touched by gun violence. Arthur Daniels was 51 years old, and that day the simple act of going to work in the morning, cost him his life. Sadly, it was a price that his family had paid once before. His widow, Priscilla, told me how their 14-year-old son was murdered just 4 years ago, shot in the back while running from an assailant. Senseless gun violence like this is an all-too everyday fact of life here in the district and in our nation's other big cities. But it's a fact of life which we must stop accepting. The Navy Yard, Sandy Hook, Aurora, Virginia Tech, Columbine, the streets of our cities. Why is it that every time we seem to let ourselves become inured to the horrific violence that these places represent? Why is it that these tragic consequences and these tragic occurrences never seem to move us any closer to ensuring that guns don't get into the hands of criminals or mentally unstable people? I don't know the answer, but I do know this, that this time it happened within the view of our Capitol dome, and I, for one, will not be silent about the fact that the time has come for action. Thank you.